Welcome back to the Crypto channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is still testing this important area of support as more liquidity is building above the Bitcoin price that we need to pay attention to, while the price of Ethereum is now struggling around this key line of resistance, while the price of Solana is testing critical support alongside XRP also testing important short-term support, while the price of Cardano is continuing to struggle around this major area of resistance. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on this weekly Bitcoin chart, and right now the price of Bitcoin hasn't changed all that much over the last one day, at least on this chart, so technically we're still within a larger bull market playing out this signal right here. And if we're taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin chart, at least for now, we're simply lacking momentum as shown here in the weekly Bitcoin MACD. We don't really have a lot of bullish momentum in the shorter term, but we saw something very similar to this pretty much exactly 1 year ago. Of course, I've been talking about this a lot over the last few months. First of all, we saw a bullish crossover in the weekly Bitcoin MACD around October 2023, just like October 2024. And then we saw a massive bullish move in the price of Bitcoin over the next couple of months or so, up until around early to mid-December. And then it was around early to mid-December 2023, just like early to mid-December 2024, we started to slow down from all of that bullish price action and start losing a lot of bullish momentum in this MACD indicator. And that loss in bullish momentum, that slowdown in the price of Bitcoin, lasted all the way through the rest of December and also pretty much all of January. And it wasn't until basically the start of February we finally started to regain some bullish momentum. So keep that in mind. Potentially some point over the next few days or weeks, sometime soon, we could start regaining some bullish momentum if history is any indication. As always, not guaranteed, but simply just based on what we saw back here and based on the signals we're seeing at the moment, potentially at some point in the next few weeks, things will likely change. And if we're taking a look at this 4-day Bitcoin chart, the super trend indicator is still sitting in the green, indicating a larger bull market. And if we're taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin chart, we're still possibly forming a massive bearish divergence, which is still something to pay attention to in case it further confirms with perhaps another lower high in place and another higher high in place here in the price and a lower high in the RSI. But overall, all things considered, things are currently looking more bullish than they are bearish on the larger timeframes. It's just in the somewhat shorter term, we're still lacking momentum for the time being. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, the price of Bitcoin continued that rejection from this major area of resistance I've been warning about, which was sitting in between around 106,000 to 107,000. So of course, that is still acting as major resistance for the price of Bitcoin. So continue to expect the price to struggle around that area. But when it comes to support for the price of Bitcoin, as of recording this video, and as we were just seeing yesterday, the price of Bitcoin is now retesting this previous area of support just here, which was also previous resistance, but is currently, for the time being, acting as support, and that's sitting in between around 101,000 to 103,000. So that's the support to watch out for in the shorter term. But if we see a confirmed break where the daily candle closed back below 101,000, then in that case, we could find some support at close to 100,000 and also some more support at closer towards around 98,000. But the next important area of support for the price of Bitcoin, critical support for Bitcoin, is all the way down here at around 92 to 93,000. But obviously between now and then, we have those other levels of support to pay attention to. And also in the somewhat shorter term, the price of Bitcoin in terms of the trend or momentum is actually looking relatively neutral because the price is basically just chopping around sideways, as we could see, between support and resistance. So we're essentially forming a sideways price range in between around 101,000 as support and around 107,000 as the top side of this area of resistance. And so potentially over the next few hours or over the next few days, we might not necessarily see anything too spectacular in the price of Bitcoin because, like I said earlier, we're still currently lacking momentum, at least in the shorter term. Potentially in a couple of weeks from now, we might see another major move at some point in the next few weeks, but just over the next 1 or 2 days, we might see relatively boring price action as we are lacking momentum and looking somewhat neutral in the shorter term. And that's not necessarily good news for this potential cup and handle pattern on the daily Bitcoin chart, because like I said recently here on the channel, in order for this potential bullish pattern to actually confirm and start playing out, we need to see a confirmed breakout in the price of Bitcoin with a daily candle close above this neckline, which is sitting at around 106 to 107,000, but ideally confirming a breakout above 107,000 above this resistance in order to actually confirm this cup and handle pattern and start playing it out towards the bullish price target. But as I said recently, we not only need to see that confirmed breakout, we also need to see that happen very soon, as in over the next few days or so, because if we, for example, take a couple of weeks to eventually break out here, then of course the breakout either way would be bullish if we break out above this resistance. But if it takes a couple of weeks to actually break out, we would no longer really be playing out this cup and handle pattern. Well, we're not playing it out right now, but essentially it'll be completely invalid at that point because the handle would be too large for the cup and handle pattern. And the same can be said if we see a larger pullback in the price of Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin starts breaking well below this area of support just here and heads down towards some of these lower levels of support, then in that case, we can basically throw out this possible cup and handle pattern, because for now, it's still possibly forming if we see a breakout very soon, like I just said. But like I also just said, if we take too long to confirm the breakout, then we have no cup and handle pattern at all. And so that's the situation for the shorter term for the price of Bitcoin, and of course the longer term for the price of Bitcoin. And as always, if you want to take any of these trades, or if you want to prepare to take the next trading opportunity in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally I take most of my trades over on BitConnect, so I'll make sure to leave a link to BitConnect below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can claim some exclusive rewards that are only available using that link. So for example, you can get a brand new iPhone 16 Pro Max simply just by trading crypto using that link, or up to $100 in bonuses on your account simply just by depositing on your account. But once again, that's only available if you use the link below this video to make your BitConnect account and start trading on that account. And also, in case you're wondering, BitConnect is a no KYC exchange, which means you can access it from basically any country in the world without needing any KYC. But as always, check your local regulations when it comes to trading crypto. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link below this video. But for whatever reason, if you don't want BitConnect as an exchange, there is also Bybit as another option out there, another exchange that I also trade on. So I'll also make sure to leave a link to Bybit below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. But with that being said, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, and right now we have a small amount of liquidity just below the price at around 101,000 approximately, and below that we have some more liquidity starting to build at around 97,000 to 97.5k. But most of the liquidity for the price of Bitcoin is actually above the price, mainly sitting at just above 107,000. And so first of all, we do have some liquidity building at just underneath 107,000, but like I just said, most of it is just above 107,000, which would require a breakout above this area of resistance, once again in between 106k to 107k. And so 107,000 is really the level to break out above in order to start flipping much more bullish again for the price of Bitcoin, not just expecting these little bounces here, but basically expecting the next major move towards the upside into new all-time highs once we actually see a confirmed breakout above ideally 107,000. And with that being said, taking a look at Ethereum on the daily time frame, and right now the price of ETH is still somewhat struggling around this descending line of resistance, at least based on the latest daily candle close. We really failed to actually see a proper confirmed breakout, at least so far, from this falling wedge pattern. So for now, that resistance is still sitting at close to 3.3k, and ideally in order to confirm the breakout for the falling wedge, we need to see a daily candle close at least confirming well above that line of resistance, so well above around 3.3k. And of course, even if we confirm the breakout and activate the pattern and the price target for the pattern, which by the way would be sitting at around $4,000 if we first confirm the breakout, but even if that happens, we cannot ignore other areas of resistance where the price can possibly struggle at. So of course, we have this area sitting in between around 34.30 to 35.60, and then we have a potential point of resistance at around 3.7k and major resistance in between 3.9k to 4.1k. And of course, over the last 1 to 2 days, we did pretty much perfectly reject from this area of resistance, the first area that I just mentioned. And so, for example, we can take a look at those points of resistance as potential points to take some profits out of a long position. For example, if you're trading this move right here out of this falling wedge, let's just say if we confirm the breakout for the falling wedge, activating the price target at around $4,000, that could be a possible opportunity for a long position. But then around some of these points of resistance, personally, I'll be looking to take some profits out of a possible long position here. As always, not financial advice, that's just sharing a potential trading strategy. And now, if we do not actually confirm this breakout and instead we just continue finding resistance along this descending line of resistance, then in that case, we have this major area of support to watch out for, which is sitting in between around 3,000 to 3.1k. But with that being said, taking a look at the price of Solana on the 8-hour time frame, and as of recording this video, the price of Solana has actually retested this area of support, and for now is finding support, is having a slight bounce from this area, and that's sitting in between around $220 to $225, and we're bouncing from pretty much exactly to the nearest cent, $225. And so obviously that is still the area of support to watch out for in the shorter term, and in case we actually see a confirmed break to the downside with candle closes below $220, then in that case, the next important area of support is sitting in between $200 to $205. But for now, we're still finding a lot of support in between $220 to $225. And as for resistance, if we actually see a further bounce from this area of support, we have a lot of resistance really starting at close to $240, but a lot of resistance closer towards $245 to $246, and more resistance at $260 and $271. And overall, the price structure for the price of Solana is looking more bearish than it is bullish. If we're looking at the highs and the lows, we're technically forming lower highs and lower lows. At least for now, we've not fully reversed that more bearish price structure. But in the imminent shorter term here, we're actually looking somewhat neutral, as the price in the shorter term is within a bit of a sideways price range, chopping around sideways, as we can see for the last few days here. And while we're still holding above this support, of course, at least in the short term, that is preventing the price from going much lower. And if we're taking a look at the price of XRP on the 4-hour time frame, XRP over the last 1 day did break below this line of support, which was sitting at around $3.04. But we have actually just run into the next level of support to the downside at around $2.95. And as of recording this video, to the nearest cent, XRP has exactly bounced from that level. We are finding support around $2.95. But if we actually start seeing candle closes confirming below $2.95, in that case, we could find some support at close to $2.90, but honestly, the next major area of support to the downside is in between around $2.60 to $2.72, and we could also find some support at close to $2.78 to $2.79 based on this low just here. But for now, as of recording this video, like I just said, we are finding support at around $2.95. And as for resistance, potentially this previous level of support could now become a bit of resistance to watch out for at around $3.04. And above that, we have major resistance at $3.20 and also in between $3.29 to $3.37. And in terms of the momentum or the trend for the price of XRP, honestly, XRP will likely follow somewhat similar price action to what Bitcoin is doing. So if Bitcoin has a slight little pullback here in the short term, we could see something similar for the price of XRP as we just saw over the last 1 to 2 days. Or if Bitcoin has a major bounce from this level of support, for example, back up towards this resistance, XRP would likely play out something similar. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at the price of Chainlink on the 4-hour time frame, Chainlink, as of recording this video, is running into a bit of support based on previous support and previous resistance, now acting as new support again, and that's sitting in between around $24 to $24.50. So that is the support to watch out for in the short term, which of course I have slightly adjusted since my last video, but we can see that previously $24 in particular was a very important level for the price of Chainlink. So if we actually break below $24, $24 with candle closes below that level, then in that case, the next important level of support for the price of Chainlink, very important, is sitting at around $22.30. And we have seen multiple bounces from that exact support level, as we could see. But before $22.30, we could also find a bit of support at around $23.50 to $23.60 based on previous support just here and also previous resistance becoming new support. And when it comes to the larger trend or momentum playing out for the price of Chainlink as of right now, technically speaking, we're looking somewhat neutral. The price is basically in a massive sideways price range, chopping around sideways, mainly in between around $22.30 as the support and that larger area of resistance in between $26.20 to $27 as major resistance. And so honestly, not a lot has happened over the last one day for the price of Chainlink. So taking a quick look at the price of Cardano, because it's still one of the top suggested altcoins in the comment section below these videos, and Cardano on the weekly time frame also hasn't really changed all that much over the last few days. Technically, the price is still trading within a bit of a sideways price range in between this previous level of resistance, the 50% retracement level, now acting as new support, and that's sitting at around 82 to 83 cents as very important support. And as for resistance, we still have this very significant area of resistance, which is the golden pocket area of resistance, and that's sitting in between around $1.13 to $1.23. And now, technically speaking, the price of Cardano is still within a larger bull market. If we're simply just looking at the highs and the lows, for example, we are forming higher lows and higher highs, which is technically a bullish trend. And on the larger time frames, that's also known as a bull market. But obviously, for the time being, in the somewhat shorter term, the price is still struggling a lot around the golden pocket, considering the golden pocket is the most important Fibonacci area of resistance. So of course, as I've been saying for months now, since before this first rejection, expect the price to struggle a lot around that area in between $1.13 to $1.23. And now, if the price of Cardano can actually finally see a confirmed breakout, ideally with a weekly candle close above $1.23, then in that case, the next major point of resistance, the next Fibonacci level of resistance, is sitting at around $1.76. But before that, we could also find a small amount of resistance at around $1.45 to $1.47 approximately, based on these previous highs still acting as resistance. But like I just said earlier, for the time being, Cardano is somewhat neutral in the shorter term, basically in a massive sideways price range in between 82 cents to around $1.20, give or take. And so that is simply the situation for Cardano for now. And once again, if you want to take any of these trades in the price of any crypto, check out those links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, you can profit from all of that price action by watching these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.